Hi, it's Jay again. Okay, so now you've finished exploring your pattern in stage one, and now stage two allows you to explore the childhood origins of your pattern. Again, I'm using people pleasing as an example. So you can see here that the motivations that you checked off in stage one now show up in stage two, because each of the underlying motivations for your pattern actually corresponds to what's called a wound in the pattern system, which is an emotional wound, which is how you got wounded as a child that created pain or negative beliefs that drive the pattern. So let's look at the people-pleasing pattern. So here at the beginning stage two page, I should say, you can see here's one motivation. I'm trying to get attention, acceptance, blah, 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 by pleasing people. These correspond actually to a number of different wounds, which we call connection attempt wounds. If you're afraid of being rejected, if you don't please people, then that would be the rejection wound. If you're afraid of being criticized, that corresponds to the judgment wound, and so on. And there's a few of these motivations that don't correspond to wounds. They correspond to other patterns that you're polarized with or colluding with. We won't worry. We'll get to those in stage four, so don't worry about those now. So let's look at, let's take one of them. Let's say you choose to work on the judgment wound. So you click there, and that takes you to a whole nother step sequence just for the judgment wound. You can see all the pages in this step sequence. And now you go through it. The first one kind of actually describes what it's like when you have a judgment wound and where it comes from in childhood. And then I won't go through every page. There might be similar wounds that you might want to do instead. That listed them here. There's a page where you can explore what triggers this wound, and then the behaviors, feelings that go with the wound. And then, of course, there's going to be a part associated with this wound, which in IFS terminology is an exile. So you can choose a name or an image for that part. And then there are 3 pages where you actually get to explore what happened to you in childhood to create that wound. So let's say if you have the judgment wound, maybe you say, oh, that really came from my father. So I will click here and go to, I need to click here, sorry. Click here, and then this page actually lets you explore the things your father did to make you feel judged, what he said to you, when that happened, and the circumstances under which he did that. So, and if you want, you could explore another parent or caretaker as well. And then there are also situations that may have happened, not so much from a particular person, but situations like you were judged a lot as a child, you grew up in a judgmental subculture. And then finally, the legacy situation where maybe you actually got this judgment wound because of one of your parents had a judgment wound, and you kind of inherited it from your parents, from one of your parents. And so those are all the different ways that you can explore of where it came from. And then here's an experiential way that you can work with your judgment wound. It's a guided meditation, which is also based on IFS. And in this meditation, you go inside, you connect with the exile that carries the judgment wound, and you actually heal that exile. You actually go into that childhood situation where the exile is being judged, and you protect it, or you take care of it, or you heal it in various ways. And you might take it out of that situation and bring it into your current life, or someplace in your heart, or someplace else where it will feel comfortable and can be with you. And then you can also help the exile to unburden the pain that it's carrying because of the judgment wound. This is all in a guided meditation. And then, just like before, there's a report that compiles all the things you filled out about your judgment wound. I didn't actually fill any out, so there's not much on this report. And that's basically the main stages, the main steps in the stage 2 for this judgment wound. Now, when you're finished with this, you can return, and if you want, you can choose another wound to work on. 1 or 2 is usually enough, but some people may actually even want to choose to do 3 or even 4 wounds. And this just, or the other possibility is you can put some of these wounds on a to-do list to explore in the future. You may not want to do them all now. Okay. There's also a page for exploring the childhood conditioning behind your people-pleasing pattern. Maybe how this was modeled for you or taught to you, or you rewarded for it, or things like that. So that completes stage 2. Check again with me when you start stage 3.